Good morning, brothers and sisters. This is Brother AJ, also go by the name of Brother Ora. And it's just on my spirit to put this out this morning, this message. And this is going to a lot of brothers and sisters who know by bloodline they're Israelites. And this is something as far as amending more than anything. You have a lot of debates because what it is Satan at this time. He has spirits out here, and he knows that whenever two or three come together in Christ's name, Christ is in the midst. So one of his greatest tactics, just like it is with the children of Israel, is to divide them, divide us. So one of the things that's being used is a lot of these doctrines, things they're not even worth dividing each other for. But today we're divided. So I just came out here to put this out for y'all, and that's basically this. There's a lot of debates when it comes to who Edom is, the name Ahia, Yahweh, things like that. And just to say, we all just sit back and just look at events, and we just look at things for what they are. It wouldn't be a debate. And why even let that be what separates someone? It all starts from, hey, if you don't believe what I believe, I'm separating from you. No. I understand that there's heresy somewhere, but whenever there's any heresies, you gotta look at it like this. Is it really a heresy? Is it really? Or maybe this person, God has revealed something to them, and we might be the ones that have to learn it, but everything is all God, Like I say with Paul said it with him and Apollo, that one planet, one water, but God is the one that get the increase at the end of the day, right? So it's all on who's doing it for God. I can have something where I set up a big community, and we all just say, you know what, Edom is the Arabians. Here you are showing that, okay, yeah, Edom is the Arabians, and so is Ishmael, and so is Midian. You're like, hey, that's not true. How can they all be Arabians? How can they be Arabs? That's false doctrine. But what we don't do is we don't look into a couple of things. Number one, when we see a name and we see a person, we automatically say that name is that tribe or nation because we're looking at how Israel is. Well, with everything in the scripts, we kind of don't want to do that. We don't want to do that because there are stables, cliques, gangs in the scripts, and they have names. Now, when you look up the word Arab itself, it means mingled people, mixed people. These are people that came together with a pledge, and you can go to the Strongs, you can go wherever you need to go at to find it out, and you're going to see the exact same thing right here. So basically, you're not lying when you say that Edom, well, Esau is the father of the Arabs, but in the same vein, it's not true at all to say that Ishmael isn't. You get what I'm saying? But it all takes that, hey, let's look into this, because you got some people who will just say, hey, no, Edom is not the Arabs, Esau is not the Arabs, and they'll just walk away. And then you got some people that say, nah, Ishmael is not the Arabs, and then they'll walk away. Well, why are you walking away? Where's the love to say, you know what? Let me see why that person is so strong about this. They wouldn't be keep pushing this unless they were convinced. I have to find out now, like, why? What's going on? They bring it to my attention. Let me go ahead and go look at this. Now, if it's not right, I will go to the scripts. Because either one or two things are going to happen by doing that. Number one, you will gain a brother, or they'll gain you on that aspect, and then it'll be more love. And that's a good route. Or number two, You can find out if they are what they pushing. Like, hey, I just want you to see this because this love, brothers, this love, sister. But then here it is. You go through the scripts. You find out because God is working on you to show you what it really is. And you bring it to them. Hey, my brother was good. Hey, my sister was good. I was looking through it, and this is what I saw. Boom, boom, boom. And then here they are. Well, no, I ain't accepting that. Well, wait a minute. Hold on. You mean to tell me you wanted me to freely accept when you were bringing something new that changed my belief system? But when I go into it and I see something that changed your belief system, you're not going to believe it. Remember, God said, love your neighbor as you do yourself. You know, how can we want them to do something that we're not willing to do? You know, that it first got to start with us. I remember I was in a finance business, and they said that you have to be your recruit, or you have to be your customer. You have to be your client. Basically, what it means is the same way you want them to react, you have to react that way first. Hey, this is something new that nobody really talks about, and it's being presented now. How should I react? Because however I react, I must expect that they're going to act that same way. You know, sorry, my voice, I just woke up, I dropped my brother off, and yeah, it's going to come in, but, you know, this is what it is. But yeah, if you react, no, I don't understand, you ain't even read it yet. No, that ain't what it is. Hey, if they react the same way, there isn't no, hey, the spirit is blinding them. You just did it. You just did the same exact thing. So you have to be able to be humble, listen to it, because who knows? They go into it, God uses them, and then they see that, you know, a lot of things. Like this is just one thing that I know, because you have some people that say Esau is Esau's the Arabs over here. The white man is the Japhet. And it goes back again. Where's the humble spirit to sit back and just let's both look at this together. I want to find out why you're saying what you're saying on both sides. You know, if the Lord's working here, I want to know why you're saying it. Everyone always look at the statement. They never look at why things are being said or why things are being presented. No, what is God trying to show you? That's why is there. Why is this being brought up? God, what are you trying to show me? That should be the first thought process with everybody when it comes to anything new or something's being presented. Unless it's like a known something that's like really you done went through it, and the same thing that person is finna present, you've already presented it before. So you can always come to them, okay, I've seen that. Okay, I see that. Hey, listen, I know how I know how you must be feeling right now, because I felt the same way. But I'm gonna let you know when I found out that this goes here and this goes here, and that was not pertaining to this, it was pertaining to that. That's what made me look at it like this. Like perfect example. I'm gonna go to the next one. I'm gonna go to the example a little later, but let's look at it like this. I felt, I'm gonna use the example again, but I felt that that there was something wrong with saying that Esau is the white man. You know, I felt that Esau was the Arabs and Ishmael was not. However, when I found out that the word Arab itself means mingled, mixed people, and pledge, people with a pledge, when I found that out, it allowed me to understand that it's not just Esau that's the Arabs, that other nations also can be Arab people too, because that will make them all mingle together, because remember, Psalms 83 say they came together with one consent. That will make them with a pledge. to take Israel out of remembrance. Okay, that's a pledge. Now they mixing, and they do mix. They do come together and have children with each other. You know, there's a certain bunch of them that do. So I'm just using that as an example of, you know, if you've already looked at it and now this person is presenting something that you may have been doing the same thing. You know, you may have been coming and charging the same way. Like this one. We like to, man, we gotta tell the truth, brother. We gotta go out there and we gotta hit the word, and we gotta do it, because if we don't, you know, God is gonna strike us, you know. Their blood is on our hands. So here it is. I know how you felt about that, about this whole thing. You know, I felt it the same way. You know, when I found out, going through the scripts, that was talking about when it's actually a sword and people are aware of this chaos going to happen, and they're like, oh my God, why is God letting this happen? That's when to bring it out. And when I also found out that through Christ and through God, living your life in a light manner, it's going to do more converting of a person than words can ever do. That's when I went that route. When I felt the same way you felt. But when I found out that Christ never was doing that to people, he pretty much was going through showing that love for people. He was healing people out of the love. He could have let them, you know, stay sick, stay whatever. But he chose to help them out, you know. When I found this out, it made me reevaluate the things that I do. So, you see that? Now, this is the only way that it shouldn't be a, what are you trying to show me, God? Why is this so much of a thing? You know? Then you got this flat earth. You got the earth is round. I heard this last night from one of my boys. And I don't know how important it is, you know, for our salvation. Because, okay, yeah, I proved the earth is flat. The earth look like that. It's flat. It's flat. It's round. It's flat. It has a dome. Yes. I get shot one day or anything happen, get into a car accident, boom, and I die. The earth is flat. And God come and show me, hey, how much mercy you been showing people these days? Like, did you wait for me to wake this person up before you start bashing them about what's right and what's wrong? Did you harp on it? Like, were you out there feeding the needy? Were you showing hospitality? Were you blessing those that curse you? Were you at peace with all men? Or were you, looking for a way to be separate from them? Saying they sinners, like all of this stuff, and God bringing this to your attention now. You done got the earth right. Yeah, it's flat. It's flat. It's flat. But you in hell. Do you think a person's going to be thinking about earth being flat, burning? Or after 1,000 years, because even in the Old Testament, how this thing going to play out, hey, boom. The judgment is there, like it says in the book of Daniel. And you wake to everlasting content and torment, and you go straight to the lake of fire. Is that earth being flat is that gonna be the one thing that God said, you know what? After everything you did, I'm glad you found that earth is flat. Let me take him out. I gotta take him out. He got the earth flat. What if the earth round? Yes, man, I proved the earth is round. I went through the scriptures. The earth is round like a ball. It is. You separated from your family because they didn't have the understanding you had, because God hasn't worked in their life yet. And then you're away from them so long, you don't understand that there's cousins, nieces, uncles, everything who God is showing them something. And the one key to get them over is now they want questions for you, but you have separated yourself from them. And now Satan has used someone else to go deceive them or make them feel the Bible ain't there anymore. And, I got to go into another understanding. So now you have totally been God have set you up for this one moment, but you won't allow them to wake up because here it is, you left again. But the earth is round. The earth is round. Think that's going to stop that lake of fire? So what it is with all of that, is it really worth the separation? Now, I'm saying it, but it's not going to change what happens, because the spirit isn't on earth for it to happen. It's going to happen because God got to get his jewels together. The Most High has to bring the people of his heart, pastors according to his heart, how he thinks. He's got to get those together. So it really don't matter how I feel or not. When it comes to how God has things and how people has things, I could care less about what anybody else got going on, or how anybody feels about it, or if they debating or not, because it's all about what God is going to have in store. And it don't matter if people care about what I'm saying, because, I'm just saying it. But at the end of the day, God's going to do his thing. The Most High is going to do his thing. All I'm saying is that, when you put it together on the mass scale and the stuff that's going on right now, is it worth being separate from a brother or sister? You see, some of these things, they need to be compared in. Some of these things have to be really read into. Some people need to it's some things that a person really don't have to shun, but some they might. It all depends on the individual. Like, I'll say this. Someone has like a thing called the Essenes Gospel of Peace. You never heard it before, but you shun it. I'm talking about if you believe that you're an Israelite. You shun it and forget that we are coming into a knowledge that majority of the church don't understand or haven't touched. How did we feel when they shunned it without looking at it? Now, I'm not saying the book is right. But what I'm saying is, for that person who's bringing it, don't they deserve our undivided attention in it? Like, don't we owe it to them to study and look into it with them to try to see, why they believe it? Or even inside of it, to look into it, to say, hey, man, do you believe that? Do you actually believe that you reading in there? Like, let's read it with them. Let's read it with them. Like, do you? I'm seeing it say that people's neck is turning around and their bones are twisting on the other side of them. If I had to look at this thing without reading it, I would think of The Exorcist. Do you believe that? Okay. So you're telling me that Jesus, Yeshua, Joshua, whatever one you want to call him, that's the one is in Greek, one is in Latin, and one is in Hebrew. But you really believe the Messiah left people alone and let them? First off, he told them what to do. He told them to get naked. He told them to go one to the sun, one in the water, one to the earth. And he didn't tell them what they were going to have to endure when they did it. And then when they start enduring, he comes through and say, hey, well, it's because you're doing this. Well, it's because you're sinning. I'm not no scholar, but I'm finna tell you right now, Majority of the time when something like that happens, that's a man-made thought. You never know what's going to happen. And then when it happens, the person who told you about it, oh yeah, that may be because, it might be because of this. Even a doctor will do that. Hey, you take this and you'll be all right. Then something happened and they say, hey, you know what? It might be because of this. There's no scripture where no Christ, no God, none of the Father, I'm talking about the Father, by the way. None of them have ever sat back and not told you what you were going to have to endure. None of them. They've always let you know straight up, legit. When you do this, this is what you're going to have to endure. Can you imagine if Christ ain't done? Let's look at St. John. Christ even told you, when you walk this walk, people going to do this to you for my name. No student is better than a teacher. He's telling you that, hey, when they hate you, know that they hate me first. Can you imagine if Christ would have told you, hey, you do this and everything would be all right. You walk this walk and you follow the commandments the best way you can, and you let me, get you to follow the other commandments that are the harder ones for your flesh to keep, and everything will be all right. You go to your family and you preach my word and you will be okay. And then when you do it, your family putting you away from them, here it is. You're just living a life normal and people are falsely accusing you and you're like, why? And then Christ is like, hey, well, you know what? Because there's something you ain't getting right. It's because, people he come last minute with all this new information to you after you're suffering. And all through the scripts, the Father and the Messiah, they've always been telling people before it even happens, they're letting them know this is what's going to happen when you go this route. So just compare it. And you can see that's man-made. Whoa. Only a man could think like that right there. Only a man could sit there and think like that. Oh, you're fasting and now you're starting to throw up and you're having discoloration in your skin. Well, you know what? It's because you fasted longer than everybody. That's why. But in the beginning, it just said all of them fasted at the same time. How could he fast more than everybody if they all started at the same time? If we start running, let's say we all start jogging, 8 o'clock a.m., we say go, boom, we start jogging. And all of us are jogging at a pace of, each time we step is 1.5 seconds. Each time that we make that right step or that left step to jog, all of us doing that. And we all reach the finish line at 8:30 or 8:10, 8:15. We all hit it at the same time. Let's say 8:10. We all hit it at 8:10. How could one other person who's in the same race be running faster, be jogging faster than the other person when they all have the same pace? See, that's one thing. It skips over the mind. But I'm just saying, I'm using this as an example. I'm not here to bash. I'm just saying that if we sit back and we read it, two things are going to happen. The one person who's presenting it is going to look over and say, hey, you know what? That don't make no sense. Hey, I didn't think about it like that. Yo, you know what? This ain't adding up. And they're gonna go ahead and let me study this again. Or they're gonna do the status quo, what some people do. Well, you ain't gotta believe it. You just wanted these people to just accept it, and you did that. Aren't they gonna do the same thing when you go to present it? Hey, brother, I want you to look at this Essenes Gospel of Peace. Well, I ain't gotta accept it. You can't sit there and look at them wrong. You just did the same thing. you just went by and totally avoided what they were saying. You totally looked away from it, but you want it. Come on, man. Come on. You know you're not mad at them for rejecting you. You know you're not. Because you reject. How can you say you're the new mad now? I can't believe they rejected this truth. The truth ain't always gotta come. I'm not gonna say it can't always come out the book, but the wisdom of the truth, when you study in the book, comes when God quickens the spirit. So here it is, God is quickening that person's spirit to now show you what you've been showing. What you wanted to show, but you rejected. Nah, I don't want that. What? How is it gonna happen? Basically, only thing was put on my heart this morning was it's not always worth separating and having a debate, arguing over something immediate. The one thing we should be focused on is how we gonna get in the kingdom. What is God gonna do in our life to get us from where we are now to where He needs us to be? Help us to show us can the Father, the same way we believe He rose Christ for the third day, make us a new person, us ourselves, make us new. What hinders me, from getting to the kingdom? Now, we need to be talking like on that. Everything else is secondary to that. Because if you die, all that other stuff is not going to save you from that lake. And would you want to go to the lake? Look, there's people right now that was in crisis time and after crisis time that thought like you did. I'm talking, and you don't know that they thought like you did because it's been presented that those people have been thinking differently. But let's look at it like this. Years ago, we knew about Adawam, Edomites. Right now, we know about Caucasian, Saudis, Persians. I mean, not Persians, but Iranians. We didn't hear this years ago. Does that mean that they're not the same people? It don't mean that. So when we see the doctrines and we look at us and say, well, we don't have that one, we need to look at the spirit that's on us, that was on them, because that's going to be the character. But when spirits on people, it's hard for them to see. They put it in a lot of movies when a person has a demon in them, vampire, whatever. They look in the mirror, they can't see themselves. So they never concede that, hey, you know what? That is me. That's me. They're not going to see it. And if they do, they're not going to admit it. They're going to keep it. That's what Satan wants them. So is it all worth it? That's all I'm saying. I'm going to turn this thing off and bless y'all. About to get started with my morning